Hi, and welcome back to the Citizen Channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. And it's match report. Yes, we're going to look back on Manchester City 3, Brighton and Hove Albion, zilch, 0-0, nout. 8 p.m. kickoff, of course, on the 20th of April 2022 at the Etihad Stadium. So we're going to have a quick look back on that today, guys. So a little bit of a hoarse voice again. Not a bad atmosphere last night. I've certainly the South Stand did the bit. I can't say for everybody else around the ground. You'll probably know, depending on where you're sitting. A few empty seats, which, at the crux at the sort of sharp end of the season, perhaps some guys should make a little bit more effort. But there's always reasons, isn't there? But I'm sure if you could get there, you did get there. And of course, Brighton sent a lot of tickets back, didn't it? So obviously, I think there was a couple of tiers. Certainly the top tier was empty, and I couldn't see anyone in the second tier unless we're a bit further back from our angle in the ground anyway. So anyway, let's get on to the game. A satisfactory win in the end. I'm not going to say it was outstanding. A little bit fortunate at times, but you make your own luck in this game. And certainly, I did see a comment about Gary Lineker and deflected shots. I said, it's funny, isn't it? It must be only City who get deflected shots. No other team in the history of football who's won titles have had deflected shots going, have they, or won cups, etc. But that's we should be used to it, but I never get used to it. It just wears you down, but you just try and forget it and let it go over your head. But not always, is it? But he's just an idiot anyway, an overpaid idiot at that. Right, I got 9 right at the City team. Yes, I was quite happy with that. I had Ederson, Stones, fair enough. I didn't have Aki in my team because I thought Diaz would turn up for this, so that's probably acceptable if he didn't. Obviously, he was fit enough to come on, wasn't he, at half-time? Laporte, Cancelo, Roderick, KDB. Gundogan, I didn't have Gundogan in my starting 11. Bernardo, Mahrez and Foden. Interesting team. Certainly a capable team on the day, and we did see people like Bernardo, who've been looking a little bit leggy and tired, certainly was there for this one last night. So the guys who were on the pitch played very well, but we'll have the player ratings, of course, later on. Mike Dean was in charge his last season, thankfully. He just spends too much time waving things on. The trouble is he waves on fouls and he waves on things, quite rightly, but he mixes it up. He doesn't, there's no consistency with him. That's a problem. It's all about him, and he just enjoys doing his machinations and this sort of thing. So it is his last season. So yeah, we can all be sort of glad of that. If there was anyone better coming up, wouldn't we? VAR was Chris Kavanagh. I don't think there's any need for him last night. Certainly not that I'm aware of, and obviously no, I don't think there was there, guys? I can't see anything really tight or anything a bit dodgy. Key stats, so obviously onto the match report. I'm all out of order here, guys. I must have been tired when I got in last night. I've got the stats before the match report. We don't want that, do we? Here we go. Here's the match report. It's all over the place, this report. Let's face it, guys, there's not a lot happening in that first half. I thought Brighton played very well organised. We struggled a little bit. 26 minutes. Kevin sort of bustles forward as he's doing in his Yaya style now. And I've heard other people use that comparison recently as well. I did, a couple of games ago. I thought he looks more and more like Yaya as he's sort of bulked. I don't know, he's bulked up a little bit, but he looks stronger and he's certainly getting back to some great. Even perhaps he'll get even to reach higher heights than he has been in the past. But he bustled forward. I thought his shot was always going wide. He sort of skimmed past the keeper's right-hand post, but from my angle behind the goal, it never looks as though it was going to go in anyway. 28 minutes. Yeah, Bernardo sort of tees himself up to go top corner, does he? But again, Sanchez, the keeper, I think it's Sanchez, isn't it? Just palmed it down and so easily. And I think Mahrez, I couldn't remember what minute it was, and I couldn't see anything on the match reports. Had a great chance where 3 or 4 times he played out. I mean, they're very good at playing out from the back. They were at their own place when I went back in October. They were excellent at it, but they were not so good last night. And I think all credit to City for putting under the pressure. And I think they faffed it about, and ended up with Mahrez. All he had to do was perhaps just hit it first time, but he decided to try and run with it, and obviously it got blocked by the time he was going to pull the trigger. So that could have been, all right, it wouldn't have been the easiest goal in the world, but he should have certainly gone for it first time, and he just didn't. Half-time, that was it, 0-0. Very disappointed. I mean, my only one of my bets on the charity, the other one, Grealish, I had Grealish for any time goal scorer, so he didn't play at all, so I get that back, of course. But I did have City half-time and full-time, so very disappointing. A losing week for the charity, but I was hoping we'd go in winning this game, but no, it was 0-0. Not totally despondent. Fans were, as I say, fans were pretty good. So in my section, that first half, we kept singing for the boys and kept going, and I think other parts of the stadium joined in as well. Into the second half, 51 minutes. Cancelo again was okay-ish. He had an effort, just deflected wide for a corner, wasn't it? We had 2 or 3 corners on the trot. And of course, on 53 minutes, we get our first goal. It wasn't clear from our end of the stadium what had happened, but it was all deflections, wasn't it? Again, KDB, one of his bustling runs, carries the ball, gets the deflection, and this is what Mr. Probably Lineker's whinging about. But hey, if you're moving, if you're being positive, these things are going to happen. And the deflection ends up in the path, of course, of Mahrez, whose shot was also deflected past stranded Sanchez, isn't it? Who did I say earlier on? Did I say Sanchez? So, yeah, absolutely brilliant. We'll take that. We'll take that however way it comes, and you've got to be in it to win it. And if you're having a go, then you deserve sometimes the luck of the bounce. And plenty of other clubs have had this, and are still having this to this day. But hey, we'll not talk about that again. So that was 1-0 after 53 minutes. And I think 59 minutes, the first real... I mean, they did have a bit of possession, Brighton, in that first half, but I think the first proper chance I remember was on the 59th minute as a Welbeck header, I think, from a corner, sort of back-glancing header, but lovely, fell kindly for Ederson straight so he could just gobble it up. So obviously we sort of got away with that one, but sometimes we're not the greatest defending corners, but obviously with Diaz in the team, it makes a big difference as well. 65 minutes, it's 2-0. Probably in my mind, it's sort of 1-0's a bit always like that, isn't it? 2-0, it's game over, isn't it? And obviously, I think that came after a corner as well. And Foden just speculatively, there must have been about 18, 19 men in the box, just speculatively hits it. It takes a wicked deflection off a boot of a defender. And again, Sanchez left flat-footed, and it's 2-0. Game over, because say Brighton were playing okay, but they didn't look very, at the sharp end. They didn't look as though they could actually score a goal or beat Ederson. 73 minutes, Sanchez again saves another Foden effort from a tight angle. 77 minutes, Zinchenko came on. Yeah, I actually saw the incident where Stones sort of just felt it. I think it wasn't anything, it was innocuous again. It's one of these where he just passed it, then you saw him sort of feel the back of his leg, and you thought, oh, God. And obviously he wasn't fit enough to go on, so about 4 or 5 minutes later, they eventually hauled him off and put Zinchenko on. 82 minutes, and it's 3-0. Another poor Brighton. I said another one of these. They probably did it 3 or 4 times in that game where they just didn't quite clear the lines, and we were very quick. But Zinchenko was smartly in and sort of nicked the ball onto KDB. And no deflections on this one, I don't think. I'm sure there wasn't. Obviously onto Bernardo, who just hit it first time. That's what we want to see from our players in and around the box. Get it hit first time. Don't give the goalie a chance to think or reposition himself or anything like that. And a superb strike from Bernardo right into the side, just inside the post. Brilliant, 3-0. We'll take that. Would have been nice for 4 to even up with Liverpool, but we're 6 goals behind anyway on goal difference now. So it's negligible, isn't it? Let's keep that 1 point ahead at least. That'll do. 83 minutes, of course, KDB to a rapturous applause went off the pitch, and Jesus came on. Let's have a look at some match stats now. I'm going to have to go back up my page here, guys, because it's all over the place. Yeah, shots 17 for City, 5 on target, just 2 for Brighton. Compared to how they did at their place and then compared to what they did at Tottenham in midweek, that was not great from them. But as I said, I think City worked hard and we sort of kept them to that sort of level. So they had 2 shots, just 1 on target. 66% possession for City, which is okay. Again, not a bad pass completion rate for City, 87%. But as I say, when we're really on it, we're up about 90, 91%, 89, 90, 91. So a little bit down, but still good. 73% pass completion for Brighton over Albion, but I said that I think that's just the way City they put them under a lot of pressure in that game. Worked really hard. These guys won't be doing much training between these games. It'll all be just ticking over. I think that was Pep's 250th win. So we'll take that, won't we? Our overall record now stands at home against Brighton, unbeaten still. Fingers crossed, may it continue forever. Played 12, won 10, drawn 2, and we've scored 30 and let 6 in. Right, on to the player ratings. My starting score is 7, because I thought it was an excellent team effort. Not every City player's got a 7 tonight. Certainly a couple of players stood out for me last night. I was commenting to my lad at certain times. Was that him again? Was that him? Was that him again? And all that, so yeah, they will reflect that. As I say, I've not watched the game back. This is just based on watching it from the South Stand. I'll give you Stuart Brennan's ratings. Is there anything I need to add to it? I will. If I don't, I'll just give you my score. Edison, yeah, Stuart said little to do apart from a couple of standard saves. I thought just his presence. I'm sorry, Zach, but just Edison's presence in that defence. I'm sorry, it is a total different ball game we used to go in. I mean, absolutely, and that's all he needs to be, really. All right, we know of course he's not perfect. Of course he makes errors. Of course he does, but it's just the whole framework of it, the whole mood of that defence is totally different when he's there. I'm sorry, Zach. That's just. It's not your fault. It's not Zach's fault. It's just how it is. But he still managed to trademark nonchalant 50-yard passes. Stuart, I think he did 3 or 4. Great distribution last night. That was my comment. Stuart, give him a 6. I've got to give him a 7. I've got to give him the standard 7. I can't give him anything less than that. Cancelo, Stuart said, looked far more comfortable when switched to left back to link with forward in the second half. Stuart's given a 7. I think he's been kind. He's going to give Edison a 6. I think he's been very kind, giving Cancelo a 7. I thought he struggled last night. I think he struggled to make any sort of impact. All right, at that one that went for a corner, but generally, I don't think he was that happy. And he was being moved around as well, so that's probably part of it. But I just give him a 6.5. I didn't think Cancelo was really up for it last night. Well, he was up for it, but I don't think it really worked for him last night. Let's say that. John Stones, Stuart says, has been City's most consistent performer lately. He has, and he was composed and strong here again. Yes, I've seen some people sort of rating Laporte a bit higher than Stones. Personally, I thought Stones, was the better of the two. All right, he had to come off late on, but obviously, he played the bulk of the game. So Stuart's given him an 8. I've echoed that. I'd give him an 8 as well. So let's hope this injury isn't too bad, because he's been imperious, I think, recently. So very disappointed. Certainly with Diaz being absent as well, I think John Stones has stepped up. Laporte, Stuart said, the perfect foil for Stones. I thought he was. Between them, they had the Seagulls attack wrapped up. Yeah, so Stuart's like me. He'd give Laporte a 7. I'd give Laporte a 7.5. I thought he played really well, but as I said, some people thought Laporte was the senior of the two last night, and I don't think so. I just thought he was great. I thought Laporte was excellent last night again, but 7.5 from me, 7 from Stuart. But just a good partnership, I thought, at the back. Nathan Aki dealt with Lamptey's threat, but his lack of attacking prowess saw him subbed at half-time. Yeah, but I think he got an injury. Yeah, that's the reason. But should just give him a 6. I've given him a 6.5. I agree. He might have been carrying something, Nathan. And Lamptey isn't the easiest player to play against. So one of his poorer games, I like Aki, and he's been playing brilliantly. So I'm only, I have to try and be fair in my own mind, and I have to say, yeah, it wasn't, for me, it was probably one of his lesser displays. So I'll give him a 6.5. Stuart, just give him a 6. On to Rodri. Stuart said, was seeking inspiration in a tense first half, but ran the show in a much freer second half display. Yeah, again, with Rodri, I did notice him a lot. He's in and amongst it. He wasn't frightened of getting involved. Stuart's given him a 7. I just thought he was very busy and had a good game last night, so I'll just give him a 7, just give him the standard team performance. He did his job. Yeah, Gundogan normally deadly inside the box, but scorned a couple of chances. Yes, much better second half. Now, this is one of the guys I kept looking to my son and saying, is that him again? Yeah. Stuart's given me 7. I've just given him a 6. I thought it was generally poor last night. He had I think he might have had 1 or 2 chances as well, but I thought Gundogan of the midfielders last night was didn't work for him. It just didn't work for him. He tried to say perhaps he needs a bit more regular play, and I'm not too sure, or Pep is switching him about a bit, position he's playing, but I thought it was generally poor last night. Kevin De Bruyne came up with goods again to tee up Mahrez in another midfield masterclass. Stuart's given him a 9. I mean, I almost give him a 9, but based on a 7 starting point, I'd give him an 8.5. Because I know we can get a 10 out of 10 eventually. So I'm going to say that for the Champions League final or something similar. Let's see. Yeah, he's given a 9. I give him an 8.5. An excellent return, a powerhouse in midfield. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm thinking about. Our old KDB. We had Mahrez, Stuart said, made up for first half hesitancy with a vital goal and assist for Foden to get second. Yeah, again, it was always at it. Stuart's only given him a 7. I'll give him a 7.5. He scored, again, mainly for the fact of his input, obviously in front of goal. But I don't think he was great at the start, but he kept going, and that's what Mahrez does. And his first touch is always exceptional. Didn't always come off what he did with it after that, but a better second half for sure. So I will give him a 7.5, and as I say, for his goal worrying as well. I mean, I've got to give him a little bit extra, of course. Bernardo Silva, Stuart said his astonishing work rate came up without garnish in the first half, but he was effective as City steps up. Yeah, absolutely. One of his better games. I thought he needed a bit of a rest, Bernardo, but he's back on it. He's back on it, playing perhaps in a better position as well. Pep's been switching him a bit deeper and stuff like this. So Stuart's given him an 8. I'd give him an 8. Brilliant goal. I mean, obviously, probably didn't need that, but we do need it in the end, don't we? It's all goals, so it all counts. But well taken goal. That's what I like to see. Bernardo in and around the box, causing problems, scoring goals. That's what we all like to see. Phil Foden, Stuart said, always looked a threat, and the quality of his strike deserved the goal that put the game to bed. Yeah, it did. As I say, it took a wicked deflection, of course it did, but at least he had the. Would it have gone in if no one had touched it? No, because it wasn't. It was probably aimed going straight for the goalkeeper. But yeah, again, you've got to be there to do it, to do that. And I thought it was one of his better games, and he's been going through a quiet patch as well, Phil Foden. So I was well chuffed last night. Stuart's given him an 8. I'll give him a 7.5. Said a lot more lively. As I said, like Bernardo, I thought it was tiring. It looked tired, but he certainly played well last night. Subs Ruben Diaz for Aki, 45 minutes. Stuart said solid return. Give him a 7. I've given him a 7.5. I don't usually rate subs that highly. They usually get the middle, the average. But I thought it was excellent. I thought, as I said, in the same way Ederson instills confidence in that back line, the return of Diaz does as well. So we're not one-man teams. I've been saying KDB is key to all this sort of thing. Missing Walker's a big blow, but you become a 4, 5, 6-man team, and perhaps that's how it should be. You're not going to have if there are only 11-men out teams that pull it in, week out there, I'd be very surprised. You need certain guys to step up. You need certain guys to do an okay job. Diaz, I thought it was excellent second half. Zinchenko for Stones 77. Of course, no time to mark him. And I remember that pick-up he did for the third goal. Brilliant. So I'm not going to mark him, but that was excellent. And Gabby Jesus for De Bruyne on 83. He's not going to do much in 10 minutes, but he's there. He's there, isn't he? And that's all we can say. Brighton going forward, apart from the keeper, who likes to waste a bit of time, which is the Brighton's way. It was the same at their place back in October from the early minutes, and he's not alone, is he, for keepers? They did make a game of it, and they played very well, very organised. Potter's got them organised. He would have been well happy going at half-time on a draw. And, of course, a little bit of luck played its part in our first 2 goals. But at this level, when there's a lot of players that are in and around, well, that just shows how many players are defending, because obviously you're going to take little nicks and deflections from shots. I mean, if you're going to put 7 or 8 guys in your own box, then that's going to happen. So, I'm not saying they did that. Obviously, it was the circumstances from a corner. Of course, you're going to have players back, stuff like that. But all I'm saying is you're always going to get that anyway. But Brighton, in all fairness, I thought played okay. They just lacked a little bit up front. And I mean, all respect to Welbeck, he's had his day, hasn't he? As up front. I mean, and we didn't see Lallana, did we? Which didn't surprise me because he's hardly been playing anyway. So all these things about how he's going to do Liverpool a favour, I doubted that anyway. I doubted he'd get on the pitch, and he didn't, because he's not been starting games anyway. So sounds good. It sounds good anyway to keep his mates happy at Liverpool, but that's how it is. Yeah, so they did make it difficult. Played very well at the back, I thought, but just a little bit of lacking up front, a bit of creativity and a bit of sharpness up front. But they're on 40 points, so it was a relaxed game for them in theory. Nothing to lose, all to gain. Unfortunately, they didn't gain anything in the end, but all credit to them. At least he tried to play a bit of football. As for us, well, we carry on. Of course, it wasn't. Liverpool are getting all the plaudits. I know the other night when they played United, obviously they stuffed them, but I have been told even for elements of that game, United had them struggling just a little bit, which is bound to happen. But of course, we just have to keep winning. That's all we have to do. We got our luck, but you say you make your own luck in this game. As long as it's not luck where it's a dubious VAR thing that should be awarded the other team, then you take any luck with deflections and stuff like that as part and parcel of the game, and every team benefits from that, not just us, as I said. So Lineker just, why don't you just retire, mate? I don't know. It's something like that. It's just annoying to see things like that. But he does come out with some sensible stuff. But occasionally, even a broken clock's twice right twice a day, isn't it? So there you go. Yeah. So That's it. We got a little bit of luck, but thoroughly deserved victory. And we're still top. All right, goal difference is -6, I think, now. We lost a goal, obviously, with these 2 games, but we're a point clear. We got Watford coming up, so we should be all right. We should be okay and confident for that one. And then, obviously, we'll see what happens with the Champions League very soon after, won't we? It's not easy. And, of course, we'll have to find out how Ake and Stones are and anyone else who may have picked something up we're not aware of. Hopefully, I mean, both Ake and Stones, but especially Stones, because we don't want to lose Stones for the rest of the season. You don't know, do you, when you sort of feel in the back of your leg what it could be. So that is a bit of a worry. But hey, going forward, let's get on to Watford. So please join me as well while I do my little, probably be out the same day as I'm doing this, actually, because we're running out of days, aren't we? I've not had time to do a history vlog for the Watford game. There's just not enough days in the week, guys, at the moment. I'm a bit behind with stuff as it is. So there will be a preview show. And, of course, there will be the odd show where, after a 6-week run, I think, of winning, all right, we've not put anything in the pot this week, so let's work a little bit hard and get something in the pot for the Watford game. So join me for the odd show as well, where it's not just quoting numbers at you guys. If you watch the odd show, it's a little bit of explanation as well and stuff, and hopefully a little bit of fun thrown in sometimes. So anyway, join me for the preview show of the Watford and the odd show as well. So that'll be great to see. I've got 2 or 3 programmes I've got to catch up on now, and we'll do reviews of those. So yes, going to get a little bit busy at the moment, guys, so things might be slightly out of order. Please watch my FA Cup rating vlog if you get a chance. 11 players, top 11 I've ended up with. They had to play a minimum of 3 FA Cup games out of the 5. So please check out that as well. Some interesting results on there. So please let me know. Leave me your comments, leave your player ratings, let me know what you thought of last night's wonderful victory against Brighton and Hove Albion. Manchester City 3, Brighton and Hove Albion. Thanks for watching, guys. I want to ask one thing, don't I? Until we meet again, please stay safe, everyone. Come on, City. Bye-bye for now.